All right, let's go ahead and start with roll call. Leah, do you want to go ahead and get us started?
Yeah, Leah present.
Great. Amy Galeri present. Al, do you want to go ahead and participate in roll call?
Al Rogers present.
Great. Okay, Jeff, do you have a sign-in sheet?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, thank you for handling the sign-in sheet today. I got back a little later than I had anticipated.
He knows the Zoom office.
Hi, everyone. Jeff, can everybody hear me?
There you go.
Okay, here's the situation. We have a packed house right now. I understand that everybody feels very strongly about the issue that you are here for. I want to say first, thank you so much for coming to the meeting. I love, again, civic engagement and when people attend meetings like this to let us know what you think. The last couple of meetings have devolved pretty quickly. I want to make it very clear that we aren't going to do that today. Okay, so here are the rules for public comment. You can make a comment to the board as a whole. It cannot be to one individual. We cannot engage with you regarding anything that you say. Jeff cannot engage with you about anything that you say. It cannot be a conversation. You are allowed to speak on whatever you would like to speak about for 3 minutes, but it cannot be a two-sided conversation. It is only a public comment. I would like to maintain civility and all of those things at this meeting, please. We are going to go ahead with the sign-in sheet, and if there are people online who would like to speak, we can pick those folks up intermittently as well. Okay. Jeff?
And then Chair, this is Trustee Perez. I'm here as well.
Okay, thanks, Frank. All right, let's get it started.
You want to call a public comment?
Yes, I'm calling for public comment.
Okay, call public comment, then read your name, so please pop up when you're ready. There should be another sign-in sheets that's back there, so I'm gonna call, we're gonna go in order on the sheet. Thank you. Chris Scott.
But seven start no problem. It's probably not spelling or. Thank you for all this meeting. Thanks for the chance to speak. You'll have to hold it up a little bit, otherwise, okay? We can leave that. Great. So I think most of us here just learned about this Franklin Story Hour in the last 24 hours. A number of people in my road chair just learned about it this afternoon. So I guess it would be better for us to get educated before we give you our full views. So my questions revolve around, was there community demand for this event? How did it get scheduled? How has it been advertised? Was it promoted at the elementary school? Things like that. And then I think that would give us the context in which to make more appropriate comments. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jim Lyon.
Jim Lyon, Pine Village resident. I'd like to just add a few more items for that, and that would be, I'd like to know what the motivation, the intent is. If this is, if the board votes in favor of this, we would like to know what their intention and the goal is having this kind of a program.
Valerie Pianaka.
For any of you interested who would like to rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with me, I'd appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Yeah, Butcher.
Jen Butcher for the record, please enter my comments into the record. I'd like to make one suggestion, while I've been coming to these, trustee meetings, I find that the library's presentations are always after the director's presentations. And it kind of sometimes it takes away from what the libraries have to say. And the library, the head librarians or the librarians who are here. And I think it would really be respectful to them if we could do that. I also am glad that nobody's here blowing bubbles in my face today. And I would like to say that, you know, when you have a bad apple, you can take away from some wonderful things. There are some great, I love this library. I love our Spanish Springs library too, but I don't understand why we need to have books that are inappropriate. I mean, there was some excerpts read from one of the books from the library yesterday at the commissioners meeting, and she shut the meeting down because it was inappropriate. But yet it's appropriate for a child to pick up that book and read it. Thank you.
Michelle.
Michelle Hall for the public record. So I'm quoting the United States Department of Justice obscenity law, adopting on obscenity law. The Supreme Court has ruled that, quote, transmitting obscenity and child pornography, whether via internet or other means, is illegal under federal law for both adults and juveniles, end quote. Obscenity is not protected under First Amendment rights to free speech, and violations of federal obscenity laws are criminal offenses. Federal law strictly prohibits the distribution of obscene matter to minors. Any transfer or attempt to transfer such material to a minor, including over the internet, is punishable under federal law. Okay, so the American Library Association lists 10, more than that, but they have a 10-book list of most challenged books, right? And it's why? Why are they most challenged? Because of the sexual inappropriate content. And those books are in this library, and they're throughout our library system, and they're throughout the Washoe County School District library system. Why is that? And you all have a role to play in that. Okay, this is an image from Genderqueer. This is a man having oral sex with a child. Okay, I'm sorry, the mic is loud, sorry. And there are other drawings and depictions. Not working anymore. No. Okay. There's depictions of homosexual sex between these middle schoolers, masturbation. This book is called Genderqueer, and it's here. In the library system. And so I'm just going to read an excerpt from the books that are here in the library. Yeah, are there kids in here?
Yes, there are.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, you might want to remove your kids.
No, Michelle, no.
Don't read it? Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing. So let's talk about graphic acts, homosexual acts between 9-year-old boys, a 9-year-old boy and a man in one case. And so when I say descriptive, I'm talking about drawings and obscene words, detailed descriptions of every sex act you can imagine, okay? Anal sex, fingers and anal, and it goes on and on. So why is that acceptable? It's not.
Thank you,
Stop, you need to go, and every
Michelle. Thank you,
completely useless needs to go. We need it.
Michelle. Thank you for your comment. You're done now.
It's no offense against Jeff with these people, but they're not.
Okay, your time's up. Please let me read the next thing. Fred Meyer.
Fire, take this down to the record. Yeah, we're gonna follow you wherever you go. You know each other pretty well, but now, I guess, a little bit. We're from Reno, a group of us, because we've been following this guy, this clown act that wants to pervert the kids with this garbage. And we will not let go. Take your notes, like you said, never look up, so take your notes, that's what you told us. And they were we went to Lemon Valley, what is it? North Valley's library, drag queen hour, and they were very rude to us. We were not in any way confrontational, but they were very rude to us. Jeff was trying to body block me, and actually bumping into, oh, excuse me, trying to get in front of me, you know, he's like this tall, being a complete jerk, very unwelcoming. I tried to go into the library, and I was stopped by, I saw her come in here, would not let me go in, said I needed to have a child. No, wait a minute. I need to have a child to go in, so I need to be accompanied by a child. Usually that's the other way around. The child needs to be accompanied by an adult. But this is kind of backwards, excuse me. So, you know, is anybody gonna really support this stuff? If you do, you should jump up and say, yes, who are you? Come on. I haven't seen anybody, but I know there are some people. The rest of us are very, you know, hey, don't support this, but nobody's standing up. Isn't that funny? Thank you.
Victoria Meyer.
Lori Meyer, please put my comments on the record. Department of Justice, federal law on child pornography. Images of child pornography are not protected under First Amendment rights and are illegal contraband under federal law, section 2256 of Title 18, United States Code. Defines child pornography as any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a minor. A picture of a naked child may constitute illegal child pornography if it is sufficiently suggestive. So there's, I did a little research before I got here. Right here in your incline high school are these 4 books, The Bluest Eye. I suggest you take notes if you have kids in high school and middle school. Looking for Alaska, Flamer, and Crank. Crank and Looking for Alaska are in the middle school. I'm going to read an excerpt from The Bluest Eye. He could have been an active homosexual, but he lacked the courage. Bestiality did not occur to him, and sodomy was quite out of the question, for he did not experience sustained erections and could not endure the thought of somebody else's. And it goes on like this, and it talks about finally in the end, his attention therefore gradually settled on those humans whose bodies were least offensive, children. So this is a book available to our middle school and high schoolers right here in the village. with regard to Drag Queen Story Hour, Miss Ginger Devine has been speaking in Reno libraries since, I think, 2017 or 19. So I'm just gonna hold these up. These are from his Facebook page from last year. I'm sure they've been scrubbed on that. This is his reading to your children in the library. Thanks to Jeff Scott. Thanks to Jeff Scott. Jeff Scott came from Berkeley. Jeff Scott was let go in Berkeley. Our Washoe County Commissioners just appointed a new trustee that we don't approve of. We had several qualified people, so we've got more. We asked for diversity, meaning a conservative viewpoint on the board, but they went with someone who's his is the correct way to, I guess, talk about that person. So we need to clean this up. We need these people to go. We need to stand up en masse. We invite you to Reno. Also, we come up here and we all need to stick together and get together these books that we don't have in our schools.
Ruby Abelard.
Hello, as a parent of children in elementary, middle school, and high school, I'm just here to say no to those agendas. And as a responsible adult, we have that responsibility to care about our children's rights and their innocence.
Liz, Gloria? Sorry, I don't look at the last name. Is it Liz?
Yeah.
Is it O'Brien? Liz O'Brien?
So why are we providing a public space for drag queens to perform and read stories to our children? What is the value of this? Is this really a benefit to children, or rather to gratify and make the drag queen feel accepted and to indoctrinate our children to believe that a sexual fetish is normal?
Yes.
Some may think that I'm outdated, the times have changed, and that allowing the drag queen to read stories about sexuality to children is property. I submit to you that the innocence of children does not change with the times. Children don't care about sex, so why is it so important for a taxpayer-funded entity to provide a space to learn about men who like to impersonate women?
I just thought.
I reject the position that providing a burlesque performance to children, which includes reading stories about transgenderism and sexual orientation, is a way to promote diversity and acceptance of LGBTQ people. You've chosen in the most bizarre way to purportedly convey such a message. How about let's try this? Let's allow children to model good and kind behavior of adults on the values upon which our country was founded. If you think my position is outdated, then why do our state statutes categorize burlesque performances to children as a crime against public decency and good morals? If my opposition is so outdated, why in the last session of the 117th Congress did the House pass a bill prohibiting federal funding to any public or private entities who platform drag queen shows for families and children? The name of the bill introduced by Congressman Mike Johnson is titled Stop the Sexualization of Children Act. For those of you who are interested, this bill was not voted on by the Senate, but is expected to be revived in the current legislative session. And I would encourage you to contact your congressional representatives. For those of you, and I know there are some who think I am an LGBTQRSTUV anti-person, I'm not. Everyone has the right to live their life in accordance with their sexual orientation. I just don't believe that education regarding sexual orientation is appropriate for young children. In fact, one of my sons is a gay man who was a child during the 1990s and early 2000s. He's an incredible, loving, and successful person, both personally and professionally. He did not earn his respect and gender love by leading with his sexuality, but rather through being a thoughtful, kind, responsible, and faithful friend to his family and work associates. He did not need to watch drag queen shows in order to feel accepted. To people in the LGBTQ community, you don't foster acceptance by leading with your sexuality. Instead, you gain acceptance by being a good person and by championing and protecting the innocence of our children.
Rebecca Andrews.
I just learned of this yesterday. I'm appalled. I'm appalled that it incline village. I'm gonna have very brief comments here, but I don't know. I'm gonna learn about all the trustees and about you. I just learned of you yesterday. I wrote an email to you and to the board that. Is this just checking the box, let people have their 3 minutes and, you know, and then just go on about business? And we are brainwashing, we're grooming young children. And it's on tax dollars. I don't care that it's donated time. This is we are paying taxes. I implore you to think about the children and what you're doing to them. They don't have they're impressionable. They don't have a voice, really. And as far as the comment that it's none of my business to tell people what to do and if they can bring their children here or not. This is a community. And I do care about those children. And it's not good. So I just implore you to please stop this.
Susan Calva.
My name is Susan Halper, and I'd like my comments entered into the record. I'm trying to understand why the drag queens want to read to children and what is the library's motive to encourage this. 3 things come to mind: pedophilia, child pornography, and child abuse. So I decided to look up the definitions on Wikipedia, and this is what I found. Pedophilia is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent experiences a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent children. Why would any adult want to dress up in a sexually explicit costume and read to children if not for some type of urge to be near little children? Child pornography under federal law is defined as any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a minor. There are many photos and videos on Instagram and Facebook and other platforms depicting drag queens shoving their male genitalia in the faces of toddlers. I can't imagine any parent who has seen this behavior will want to bring their innocent child to a drag queen reading or show or anything. Child abuse is physical, sexual, and or psychological maltreatment or neglect of a child or children, especially by a parent or a caregiver. After a parent sees the behavior of drag queens and still opts to subject their innocent child to this behavior is downright child abuse. When the library has a choice to encourage children to read or the chance to be read to, why do they choose a platform that can be confusing to young children? Why isn't there a grandparent reading day or a Christian reading day? If there is one, why isn't it advertised as much as the drag queen reading? Why do people who are the least appropriate to read to children get their time at the library, school, or any event? What they want to do on their own time with their own children or family is up to them. But for community to promote such behavior is not only disgusting and perhaps criminal, but outrageous. Why would you allow your child to be the presence of this type of behavior? This is grooming at its best. This is an act to desensitize children So they can think this behavior is normal as they grow. But what you really are doing is setting up children for failure and harm. They will not be able to know the difference between someone who wants to help them or someone who has an ulterior motive and hopes to hurt them. Pedophiles will always know the child of the false pretenses and hurt them. Why would you promote this? Would you leave your child alone in a home with a drag queen when actually that there will be no harm done to your children? Perhaps drag queens don't want to hurt children, but their behavior should be limited to consenting adults and not children who are innocent and impressionable, and they should be nowhere near this.
Jeff, could we have chairs brought in for all these folks?
We can't fit any more people in here.
Two chairs.
We can't fit any more chairs in here. We can't fit any more chairs in here. So I apologize for that. They'll have to wait outside to fire code. So
Thank you.
if we can continue with this,
Thank you. Please render.
I would like to continue with this meeting. We're gonna get to
Michelle,
that here, okay, so
we
please.
can't.
We have fire code. If you have too many people in here, no one can get out, okay? There's not enough room. Please stop arguing with me. Nancy Carlson.
My turn. Nancy Carlson, I'd like my comments included in the record, and I am going to read them quickly. As stated in the library bylaws approved in September of 22, the board shall endeavor to administer and manage the resources of the Washoe County Library System in a manner consistent with the public trust. Also, consistent with the library mission statement and the library vision statement. The vision statement of the library is that all Washoe County residents benefit from the library's support of literacy and self-education. The mission statement says they will connect people with information, ideas, and experiences to support an enriched and engaged community, all of the community. The statement of values has a statement of inclusiveness. We make enriching cultural and intellectual resources available to all. Adaptability, this is also a statement of value. We are responsive to our users' needs and interests. Critical, in my opinion. The president of the New York Family and Research Foundation says Drag Story Hour is not about indoctrination. It's about desensitizing children to gender fluidity.
Bingo.
Director Scott has stated in his presentation to the community about Pride Month, the library is in support of intellectual freedom. It is each parent's responsibility whether their child attends a public library experience or not. It is not the responsibility of individual community members to decide what may or may not be appropriate for other people's children. It is up to individuals whether or not to engage. As Christians, most of us are in support of all people. We would ideally love to stop Drag Story Hour if we can, but if we can't, if the vision and mission statements referred to above are truly supported by the Washoe County Library System, we would like to establish a program for Bible Story Hour effective immediately. We would like the same support and publicity as experienced by Drag Story Hour or Bible Story Hour. And I'm sure all of us will volunteer our time and talents. Thank you.
Joseph Schultz.
Joe Schultz, resident of Incline Village. It seems pretty obvious that the goal of drag queen storytelling has nothing to do with the benefit of children. If it was, then these individuals would show up in normal attire, not as a drag queen. There is nothing to benefit the children by this program. This program is only to benefit the drag queens. It's only to benefit those who are trying to desensitize our children to the perils of deviancy. I would urge you to curtail this program or close it down.
Bruce Parks. Bruce Parks, for the record, I'd like my comments read in the permanent record for the edification of those present. No, there's no public demand for this. Contrary to what the director will tell you, he already has clearly established he has an integrity problem, so there's that. There was no vote taken about whether this is a program that will be in our libraries. This is the only public body in Washoe County that does not do a salute to the flag, and that's for the chair, Amy, and the library director. Our biggest complaint about this drag queen garbage is if you want to do this, fine, knock yourself out. Not in a taxpayer funded facility, not from our government. And already in Washoe County that's been doing the drag queen story hour for over a year. And since the Washoe County Library has, and this is important, partnered with our center, they have a facility, they could do this at their facility. It does not have to be done in our libraries. Right. And we demand that it ends. By the way, that partnership was not voted on by the library board. It was a unilateral decision on the part of the director. Nobody from the public had any say in whether or not this is a program that we want. We don't want this partnership. There are those on the left that say that those of us that oppose this are just hate mongers, fascists, Nazis, whatever. All the intolerance and lack of respect is not coming from us. It's coming from the other side. As pointed out Saturday at the drag queen story at the North Valley's Library, I was accosted on the sidewalk by members from people that were supporting this stuff. The Rainbow Thieves were out there in strength. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a derogatory term, isn't it? I apologize. There was a slight altercation there. It was quickly intervened by security. They did a fantastic job. But the point is, there were 3 times there were incidences there. And it wasn't from us. It's from the other side. What that means is eventually it's going to erode into violence. It won't come from this side, it'll come from the other side. And when that happens, blood's on your hands, sir. Your hands. These are our libraries. We, the taxpayers, pay for these libraries. The added security, I had no idea what the cost was for the added security Saturday. I'm sure it was considerable. Sandy Burnell.
I'm looking for this. Learned about this at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so I didn't have an opportunity to really figure out what I'd like to say. I agree with someone here. One of the things I'd like to make clear is that, as someone said, standing against this does not mean that I have any kind of hatred for the gay community. My brother, who I'm born, obviously speaking man, is a good man, the people that be here speaking against this. As I believe there are many that will speak against this. Because when it comes to healing sexuality, we need to keep it away from our children. studies, many studies have been done that show that the human brain is not completely fully mature until the age of 25. So when we start projecting homosexual images into our children's brains, or even heterosexual images, any kind of pornography is wrong for our children to be viewing. And there's just no excuse for these 10 books that are most objective to be in our library. If it's pornography, by the definitions that have been read here today, then it needs to be out of our library. Any kind of pornography, heterosexual, homosexual, whatever, it needs to be gone. Our children need to be left to just be children. And as their brains are forming and they're going through all this identity crisis of whether or not they're boys or girls, they don't need an adult suggesting to them that they might not be a boy or girl. You know, just let them be kids. If their brain is fully formed at the age of 25 and they think that they've still got some sort of transgender issues, then bless them to deal with it at that time. But many, the majority of children will grow out of that and their brains will fully formed. So let them become adults, keep this away from them until they're adults. Stop indoctrinating little tiny children. And now that I've met Just God, I'm taking a good look, and I will remember, and I will join with those who are against this fight. I've never fought this before, but I will be standing with them against this kind of garbage coming into the homes in the library, the public library that I pay for. This is disgusting to me that my tax dollars pay for this. And I'm going to find out who all the other trustees are and do whatever I can to change this library board.
Gary Burnell.
Yes, I'd like to say the matter of the partner and now. I'm lucky have from that other third. What I do have to say though is that with what I've heard, the feeling of it seems to come out of this, and I didn't plan on mentioning this, but I'm going to now. I was abused as a child, 7 years old, for a couple of years. I have 3 brothers, maybe 4 brothers that were all abused. One of which is now homosexual, and he would be here, just like my brother-in-law, against it. This idea of coding, this lifestyle. So, what I want to say to the board members is, I never got over it. And I don't think my brothers have either. And you're pushing this lifestyle to these people. You are equally guilty. And we'll be held accountable, either on this side or the other side. You know what I mean? No other sleeping night. Think about that. What you're promoting, that the children are there are going to be children that are going to be abused, and their lives are going to be ruined by giving them a moment in the sun. And thank you.
Linda Robbins.
My name is Linda Robbins. I've been here for 24 years and I'm a taxpayer. And I'm so I learned about this yesterday. And I've been so upset by it. And to hear how long it's been going on. People coming to the arena and getting attacked. And obviously, you're not hearing what everybody is saying. We don't want this in our schools. We don't want it in our libraries. We don't want it in England. We don't want it in America. You can be horrified that you have to stay in that body
that supports this. And I am appalled. I don't know what we can do to stop it, but there should be no fragment of it left. When kids, there's no support for you. Take it away, stuff it in whatever you want to, but leave us alone.
Jason Horsey.
Jason Fortune, can you please submit this to the public record? This is my first time speaking besides wedding. So I'm just gonna read to you what I wrote this morning that Jeff probably saw. My name is Jason Fortune. I have been a full-time resident of Incline Village since late 2020. I am a husband and father of 2 young children who attend LTS, and we have frequented the Incline Village Library since the time we moved to the town a little over 2 years ago. It has come to my attention that there are planned drag queen story hours for the library of Washoe County, specifically Incline Village. I am also aware of the drag queen story hour that took place at the North Valley Library on June 17th, last week in Greenland. By the way, I went to that, and unfortunately, the guy that was going to join me flaked on me, but I would have stayed there with everyone else if I had known. I'm writing to let you know that I wholeheartedly and vehemently reject any and all exposure of children to the counterculture of drag queens. There is no morally justifiable reason for young children to be exposed to drag queens in any setting, much less a public library supported by taxpayer funds. I can tell you that there are many parents, millions of them, just like me, all over the United States, that feel the way I do about the subject. Placing young children in proximity with adults who are intentionally and explicitly sexualized offers nothing of value to young, impressionable minds. Under the guise of innocence, these and other events explicitly promote gender identity ideology, including the belief that people can be born in the wrong body. We as parents flatly reject this concept. We are aware of the sexual nature. We are aware of the sexual nature of these kind of events, and it is almost always obscured. This allows the organizers and their defenders to dismiss parents' complaints about bigoted and ill-informed. But believe us, we are well aware of this Marxist movement. To indoctrinate our children in the name of love, compassion, and tolerance. It is anything but that. It is a coordinated effort to destroy the family unit, and we will not stand for it. And my last 30 seconds, it's much bigger than this. It's much bigger than the local library. You need to get everyone involved, your friends, your family, and you need to mobilize if you're not going to. Thank you.
Scott Johnson. Scott Johnson. Yes, I. Is he not here? Okay. Agnes. Bote, sorry.
Oh, Agnes.
Bring the heat out.
So my name's Agnes Boutte, and I've been a resident of Incline for a long time. I know in the name of diversity, a lot of this goes on, and there's the other side who feel, oh, well, you know, we need to introduce this and that to the kids because they're young, they need to know these things. Well, I happen to be one of those people who feels that kids learn enough when they're young, and there's plenty of time for them to learn, especially about the drag queens later on in their lives. If I come to the library with my grandchildren, I want them to have an experience that is wholesome for them. I don't want them to come to the library for the show that I pay money to go see the drag queens perform on stage. I would rather go pay my money and see the drag queens than have to
drag queens come perform, we're not doing it. So,
Cheryl Anderson.
Comments and then the public record. And it's pretty dense about the story hour. That's why I was not going to look at X. It's right on their modeling deviant behavior. They are grooming our children. They are contributing to mental health issues which are already increasing in our youth. They're also against the inclusion of pornography in our libraries and schools. Our country is in trouble. Our children need an education to compete in a complex world and do not need to be focused on sexual fetishes. Please close down the story hour and move it tomorrow.
Yes.
Matt Borsch.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jess.
Hello? First off, I want to say, Jeff, you got a tough job, buddy. Like, I wouldn't want to be on your end, so thank you for doing what you're doing. It's not a hard, I mean, it's not an easy place to be being in between everybody. So thank you, God, for what you're doing. I want to put out there 2 dates. January 3rd, 1926, June 22nd, 2009. Who knows what they have in common? The first is when the Hitler Youth was started. The second one is when the Obama administration passed through the Family, Child, Smoking, and Tobacco Prevention Act. Both of these are two sides of the same coin. They both realize that at a very early age in life, it's very easy to indoctrinate kids. I have a 2-week-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and I'll tell you what, when my back starts hurting, all of a sudden my 3-year-old's back starts hurting for a week, my 6-year-old back starts hurting for a week, because they copy exactly what you did. So I think it's, I found out about this morning as well, and my philosophy is it's our right as parents to have a say in what is presented to our kids. It is most definitely our right as taxpayers to have a say in what the publicly funded institutions are doing. And I got an email this morning saying, oh, here's the presentation about what's going on with the drag queen hour. And I went through it. It's not a presentation to foster community discussion, it's a sales presentation. And on the third last slide, it says, by the way, we recognize that it's none of your right to tell what other kids are going to be learning. Bullshit. It's exactly right. And not that it matters, but Washoe County, like Incline Village plays the dominant of taxes in Washoe County, so I hope you guys are listening. And I'll tell you a personal story, so nobody loses faith. City Council at our place in Florida in November of last year put on some draconian policies. 1 month ago, after legal action and a bunch of community action, City Council reversed exactly what they were trying to do, and it's been indefinitely postponed. I haven't known about this until this morning. I know about it now. I don't quit. We're just getting started. Stop it today.
Yolanda Knapp.
Hi, Yolanda Knock, K-N-A-A-K. I want my comments to be part of the record. First of all, I'm really concerned about our children, especially with the books, the immoral books and the drag queen story hour, which I think is immoral too. I just want you to know that I'm really concerned about the legal issues here. You know, the sexual, so these folks, sexual confusion, identity confusion, emotional confusion. I don't know how many people have followed Harmony Dillon. She's representing Chloe Cole, who at 11 went through transition. At 15, had her breasts removed, and then she's now 18 and she has transitioned back. But she realized that she was never going to become a man. So, there is a lawsuit now, a huge lawsuit against Kaiser. A lot of the information that Kaiser told them, she had to have her breast removed because otherwise she was going to commit suicide. All of this, there is not documentation for that, I'm sorry. And there's going to be a huge lawsuit. I'm concerned about the legal situation for Washoe County, promoting the sexual confusion and so forth. I hope you actually put this on pause, this program on pause, discontinue it. And if you don't do that, you need to have parental signatures with information about what this can cause. Otherwise, Washoe County is really opening themselves up to a huge lawsuit. Thank you very much.
Melissa Iceland? Wait, okay. Mikhail Avanov?
The 11th, I would like my comments to be recorded. I'm a full-time village resident, and a father of a 9-month-old. When him and I go to the public library, we expect that the content presented to children here is suitable and appropriate for children of their age. And if we look at the Oxford Dictionary definition of what gay is, the dictionary says that gay means sexually attracted to people of the same sex, which means that I can't even discuss those concepts with my kids without bringing sexuality, sex, and all of those other things. I understand that they may not be black and white guidelines for the library, but if we look at the Association of Movie Makers in the United States, in order for content to be suitable for kids, what it says is that the movie needs to contain nothing in theme, language, nudity, sex, violence, or other matters that in the view of the board will offend parents. So having said that, I don't understand why, like, if someone produces a movie about LGBTQ community and drag queens that by no means can be rated as suitable for kids, yet somehow the leadership of the Unified Public Library decides that this is the right thing for kids to be exposed to. Having said that, as a taxpayer and a full-time Unified Village resident, I'm requesting this property to be closed.
Sarah Haddon?
If you please consider this, or record it on the record, please consider this email, this is mom, with the voice. Please get your number 2 pencils out. If you're energized about this topic, I encourage you to look up the Washoe County School District bathroom policy, locker policy, and all of that. drag, trans affects Americans, ladies, and children. We're all Americans here. I encourage you to look up what happened in 1930s Germany with trans and drag and what happened to their culture and society. I encourage you to look up what happened with the Romans, what happened with trans and gender with the Romans and how long they lasted after they introduced this stuff. And I ask you, there is a bigger plan here. Are you pawns for a bigger plan of destroying America as we have known it? Do your research, there's a lot of books here. And then women with the second thing this affects. I was taught growing up, I'm not a pile of scantily clad clothing. I'm not makeup. I'm not heels. I'm definitely not hair I'm losing it all the time. And that does not define me as a woman, nor should it. It affects me when I go to the bathroom at Legoland. And not a single woman had the audacity to speak up to the man that was in there, not even trying, not even makeups. Like that makes a difference. It affects women, especially the vulnerable children. Try changing a tampon or a pad in the bathroom with the opposite sex. Try telling a child that it's okay to have a dysphoria of your body. Are you going to let them be comfortable with that? Is that what anorexia is? They look in the mirror, they see something different than what they want to be. Are you going to support that? I have a good friend that lost a teenager or 20 something to exactly this. You're encouraging these children to be part of a population that has the highest suicide rates. That's another thing you can go look up. It doesn't take much. And she lost her niece to this. So I'm going to ask you, can you do your research? Are you boards?
James Castellucas. James, yeah, anyone? You left, okay. Ed Forrest.
I did think it was a sign-up sheet, so I wasn't signing up to speak, but I will say it for this. I like the comments added to the record. So I don't know that I can add much to all the great commentary, which I agree with. All I'm thinking about is how could leaders and directors of this library believe that having a drag show serves the community, and I just can't get there from here. So I just asked myself, who are the leaders and directors of the library serving? Are they serving a political movement, or are you serving the community? Are you serving personal moral aspiration that you have, or are you serving the community? I don't think you can have it both ways. I would love to see some evidence that the community actually is asking for this, because I don't think that that's the case. My wife and I, we have 12 grandkids, one on the way. They come and visit. We want to be able to take them to a library without having them sexualized. And I don't know who in the right mind thinks that it's a good thing to sexualize children. It's amazing how much has changed in just a few years in our country. And we're seeing it manifest itself in our town. It's disgusting. It needs to stop. So I can ask you guys, and think very hard about who do you serve? Who are you serving? It's not God, and it's not our community if you go forward with the strategy. Thank you.
John and Marlene Sathi?
Yeah,
Sathi.
I am John Ciotti, and I'm a resident here, and I look at things very simply. I'm a simple man in the past league, and on this issue, I think it's very simple. And I'm here on behalf of all the children And as an adult, we need to protect those children.
Here.
And so as an adult in the room, we need to say no to this. That's my simple answer. Thank you.
And Amy, we have, I think, a couple of raised hands. So Reva Crump looks like. Reva Crump, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Please read my comments into the record. That was number one. Number two, your agenda packet has been altered, and I believe that you can no longer hold the meeting under the new agenda packet. You seriously should consult the attorneys on this, because once it's sent and posted, you're committed to that, and it has been altered. Number three here. Welcome, Trustee Rogers. Unfortunately, on the Board of County Commissioner packet of June 20th, which was yesterday, item 16 states that his term starts July 1, 2023 and continues till June 30th of 2024. So if you have him vote, you may have a serious problem on your hands there, because it would be a violation of, well, the law. Number four, I emailed the library board email 4 times. 3 times I did not get a response. 1 time I did get a response, but none of it was ever from any of the library board members. I emailed about the reopening page on the library board website. As the reopening occurred in 2021, it's time we update and keep up with the times, and it would look better on the library if they kept themselves updated. The second thing was an open meeting law violation, no big deal. The next one was on the library event proposal form. It says actually on the form, submitting a proposal is no guarantee that an event will be accepted. Please note that we may not respond personally to every proposal. If someone's taking the time to make an actual proposal, it is good business practice to at least acknowledge that you've received it, the event proposal, review it, say if it's accepted or not, and if it's found deficient, tell them what's wrong with it, for heaven's sake. Good business practice, people, come on. Last but not least, I emailed something and I did get a response back, but not from a trustee. It came from the director. And it said, "Good evening, Ms. Crump. You can address my message. You can address messages to me, the library director, as I am responsible for the handling of correspondence for the board." Hello, it's not in his job description, and I'm pretty sure the board's not aware that you've taken over as the What happened? Hello? Oh no. I didn't do anything. I didn't cut out. I'm not muted either. Oh no, it wasn't me, huh?
Ms. Riva, I think we're just waiting on the host to jump back on here.
Okay.
I know that 3 of the trustees can hear you, but not all of them.
Sorry, y'all. Give me a reminder where I don't know where I left off. I'm so sorry. Are we ready yet? You'll tell me when, right? All I see is a black screen. And I'm talking to myself incessantly.
No, you're not.
To hear that, that's nice that I'm talking to myself. Great, guys.
Here, hang on, I'll get the clock back up to give you your time, so.
I'm sorry, thank you. Okay, well, I'm sorry if you heard any additional, I'm doing it again. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Please read my comments into the record. And number 2, the agenda packet has been altered, and you'll need to check with your attorneys, because once it's posted, I believe you're committed to that. You can't alter what's in that packet, and the agenda has been altered. So that's something for you to note. And I know you keep an attorney on board, so that'll be good. Number 3, I said hello to Trustee Rogers, and that unfortunately in the Board County Commissioner package of June 20th, which was yesterday, item 16, his term starts July 1st of 2023. So if you have him vote, you may have a problem with those votes. You probably ought to consult with the attorney before you continue your meeting at that time. And last but not least, I had emailed the library trustees 4 times, and 3 times I did not receive a response. And one was about the reopening page on the website that It reopened in 2021, so we probably need to update that so we don't look ridiculous. And then it just keeps the library updated. One was an open meeting law. The next was, I'm trying to go fast. On the submission form for event proposal, it says that there's no one will get back to you if you submit a proposal. We just won't take the time to respond to every proposal. Well, if someone took the time to submit a proposal, we really should be contacting them. It's good business practice to let them know that their proposal either didn't meet the standards or the mission of the library, or it was a good proposal, something, or their email didn't get lost in cyberspace. I mean, we gotta let them know, guys. And the last one is the email I did get a response to said, and it was from Mr. Scott, that the libraries, as you can email me messages to the library director, as I'm responsible for handling the correspondence of the board. I don't think the board knows that the director's responsible for handling the correspondence, and it's certainly not in the job description. And there was no vote ever taken on that. So you all need to clarify that. And I'm done. Thank you. Whew.
Leandra Superna, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the board for taking the time. It's a really important issue. I'd also like my comments to please be entered in the record. My name is Leandra Suprenant. I'm a full-time resident, taxpayer, and business owner here in our beautiful town of Incline Village. I'm also a homeschool mother of 3 children under the age of 6. As a Christian and parent, I must absolutely object to drag queen story hour, at our local library. Publicly funded government spaces are absolutely no place for gender ideology politics, and children will not learn a single thing from a man dressed up as a woman reading a story, except maybe to learn that the people of the world have lost their minds. As a homeschool mom, we rely heavily on spaces like publicly funded libraries to be neutral political ground. We go to further our imaginations, further our understanding of the world, and learn how to behave in shared public spaces. We do not go to be indoctrinated or jammed, as Karl Marx calls it, in the ways of gender ideology, neither to have our children sexualized. I understand that this is not a back and forth conversation, but I'd love for someone to explain what possible benefit a child may have by being read a story from a drag queen. What will they learn? What will they take away with them to be the kind of people who influence the future of our country and the world? There is absolutely no benefit for our tax-funded spaces to offer these kids these kinds of shenanigans. If other parents would like their children to be exposed to things representative of the LGBTQ community, or I call them the alphabet people, they may use their own dollars, not mine, to achieve their goals. Our quiet library is no place for this nonsense. No one on this panel has the moral or legal right to push it on our community, and no children deserve to be sexualized by these experiences. I will not have it, and neither will the people of our community. This must stop at once. And then lastly, as a Christian, I must beseech you that Jesus is very clear that there are 2 sides in this life. You're either for him or you're against him. And using these kinds of tactics to confuse children who are very impressionable is 100% not on the side of Jesus Christ. And so I am praying for the members and for our community that their hearts are turned back towards the actual truth and away from these things that are sexualizing and confusing our children. Thank you so much.
Amy, I don't have anyone else signed in and no one online.
Okay, sounds great. All right, let's discuss the meeting minutes. Are there any public comments regarding specifically the minutes from last month?
Allison is on the list and she was good to speak about him. I said, okay, I still like him. And this lady has been on the phone. We have 2 more public comments here.
You have other signed in? Any 2 public comments?
That door, there was.
You're not going to use your time for the pledge.
You can't get up again once you've gotten up to speak.
My name is Del Elias, and I agree with everyone who has spoken in here before. You young parents, oh, my heart goes out to you with this being forced on you in our community. My name is Del Elias. My husband and family have lived here for 30 years. We have been a part of this community, an active part. My children went through schools here. They were often at our public library when it was that little tiny building, if any of you remember, before we had this incredibly beautiful building built for our library. They were active in our community. I was active in our community, both in my church and then also in the schools. Out of the years my children were in the schools here, I was PTA president 3 different times. But my friends and I who kept sharing that job still are in touch with each other. And if we had any idea this meeting was going on, they would have all been here in full force. I heard about it at 3 o'clock when my husband said, "Did you get the email?" And I went, "No, I've already checked my email today." And so I checked my email, and lo and behold, there was the comment about this. I have never been to a board meeting for the library. I did not come with prepared statements. I have been very involved in my church here in town over these 30 years, and a lot of that involvement has been around children. I love children. I've been active in volunteering, never a paid position, with children in this community. And I absolutely love working with them. They're precious, they're innocent, they're gifts from God. And our job as adults here is to protect them and to guide them and not confuse them. There is so much going on in our world today that is confusing. And let's give them some love and stability and not mess things up in their world with things that they will hear about in their futures. But let's let them be old enough to decide for themselves what's happening in our world. I love kids. I love my community of fun. And I'm just boiling inside. I don't know if you can tell that. But and I had no prepared comments because I was not aware of what was going on, and I came in that door without a sign sheet, so I apologize if this is last minute. But I love you guys. I encourage you young families. We're here for you. We just need to know what we can do to help. So thank you very much. We are going to here in the community, period. I'd like to reclaim my time since I haven't used the one.
Today, Mr.
I wrote my time during the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's still using your time.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
Jeff.
I can say public comment and use
You
it.
changed our agenda to put public comment off the agenda.
I'm sorry. You need to follow. This is not a circus. This is not a circus. Absolutely not. This is out of control. You need to sit down now. You need to sit down now. You need to sit down now.
Trent, can you chime in on this, please?
You changed the agenda illegally. You took off the end of our public comments, which I thought I had because I went by what you guys posted. I'm gonna be very brief. I actually wanted to compliment you. I'm sorry. I started speaking out about Drag Queen Story Hour almost 2 years ago. I was almost alone except for Mr. Bruce Parks, he and I alone. I was worried about Drag Queen Story Hour making its way into our schools. That's where I started with this mission. That worry was not without foundation. At our most recent Washoe County School District meeting, the superintendent recited the pledge she wants us all to abide by. Basically, a pledge to LGBTQIA2S+. All of the books described here are also in the Washoe County School District libraries. You got a little taste of it. It has come to our schools as well, in their libraries. Drag Queen Story Hour will be there next year, I predict. Wake up, parents, grandparents, caregivers, and all of Washoe County, I'm begging you. I've been screeching it for 2 solid years. My son saw pictures on Twitter of the last 2 Drag Queen Story Hour events
and have forbidden me from taking my own grandchildren to any libraries. That makes me super sad because I love our libraries. I grew up in them. I lived in them. Jeff, if you would lose your pride, no pun intended, and back up on this agenda, you could be considered a pretty decent library director. You brought some wonderful things to our system. You've made some changes that are fantastic. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not trying to diss on you at all. But I'm still coming for your money, directors. I'm coming for it.
Jeff, can you please allow Trent to speak?
Is there anyone else for public comment?
Jeff, can you let Trent speak, please?
Yeah.
What?
She's referring to Trent, the attorney.
We don't use it.
Mr. Chair, what is your question?
Yeah, I was just checking what the deal is with public comment in that situation. You have a little guidance, please.
So public comment is only being called, it was already called under item number 2, correct?
Right, if can
Yeah.
somebody come up for second public comment?
Not under item number 2 if they've already used their 3 minutes.
Can they use part of their 3 minutes and get up to use the rest of their 3 minutes later?
No, you can only use it at one time.
Okay, do we have any questions about that? Okay, thank you so much.
Stop. Can you, we need to have the meeting. Quit interrupting the meeting.
Are there any other public commenters who have not yet spoken? Okay, moving on to the minutes from last month. Trustees, while you're looking those over, here's the deal with public comment on action items. You have to make a comment relating specifically to the item that is being voted on. It can't be about everything like public comment. It has to be specifically about the issue that is up for action. Okay, all right. So this has to be just about the minutes from last month. Go ahead, Bruce.
For the record, once again, Bruce Parks, I'd like my comments entered into the public record verbatim, and that's what I want to comment on. In the minutes from September until the present, our comments have been paraphrased or even taken out of context or not properly recorded as we have requested. I am asking this body to please. There is absolutely no reason under the sun that you can justify to me why my comments are not recorded verbatim as I have requested. I challenge you to show me in NRS 241 where it says that that can't be done. Thank you.
Any other public comment about the meeting minutes? Okay, trustees, do we have any comments, questions, thoughts regarding the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes.
Okay. I would be open to a second.
This is Frank, so moved.
Okay, are there any discussion, questions, things like that before we move on to a vote? No? Okay, we have a, are we cruising through? We have a motion from Leah, a second from Frank. I would, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Lost you visually. Okay, aye. Trent, I've got one more question for you.
Yes.
Can Al vote?
I recommend that he does not vote during this meeting.
Okay, we still have a quorum, so that's going to be okay for us today. Anybody in opposition? No, all right, unanimous approval. All right, no old business, new business. We have to elect chairs and vice chairs and such for next year, for this upcoming year. Does anyone want to start with a nomination for the chair for the library board trustee for next year?
I nominate Frank Perez.
Okay,
I'm gonna go ahead and nominate Chair Gallery for that. I think you've done a fantastic job this past year as chair, a very balanced approach and topics that can bring up a lot of different perspectives. And so I'll withdraw my nomination, or I won't accept my nomination, and I'll go ahead and nominate Trustee Gallery for the position of chair for the upcoming year.
okay. Okay. Any?
Second.
Go ahead, Leah, sorry.
I second.
Second, okay. I would say any discussion, but
Yes,
any discussion from the board, public comment?
not from you. I'm sorry, you have to allow public comment on action items.
Okay.
Defer to your attorney, please.
Hey, Jeff, I can't see what's going on here. Can you turn it back so that I can see that the crowd? I can only see the packet. Cool, thank you so much. All right, public comment regarding the election.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Apparently, the library director was confused for a second there, thought maybe he was in charge. I would like to make comment about this election for chair. I would strongly recommend that this board consider anybody other than the current chair who has on numerous occasions clearly expressed her disdain for the general public and for the speakers. There have been numerous occasions of that. I would have a thumb drive with the video, but I didn't know we were going to have that capability. I'd be happy to provide it at a future meeting, should you be so inclined. I highly recommend that this body consider Anne as the chairman. It would be very beneficial to the library system as a whole and to the general public. But my humble opinion, like I've ever had one of them, anybody other than the current chair.
Richard, for the record, I believe that Amy's term is on 6:30, and we'll be correct about that.
You're correct.
So, sorry, last one. I didn't do it. Anyway, it's my understanding that in these terms, that's just next week. So why are we voting on Amy if she's not going to be here? Or is she going to be here? Let's see. Well, it was yesterday too. Anyway, so I object to any of the board members for chair, vice chair, to be voted on today until after 6:30. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Is there a chance for board comment?
Yeah, we can have discussion. There's a second still on the table, so feel free to say whatever you got on your mind.
I just wanted to say thank you for your service to this board and for everything that you've done to maintain stability during our meetings. And I am glad that you are a part of this board, and thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Okay, if we have no other discussion and we have a second, I will open it up to a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous approval. Okay, we are going to go through the same process for the vice chair. Any public comment for the election of the vice chair?
Again, Bruce Parks for the record. I would like my comments read into the record verbatim, please. Well, we already lost that round. Yes, it's true. I don't believe that somebody whose term ends in a week should be voting on this, but when it comes to consideration of nominations for vice chair, I strongly recommend that you search amongst the library trustees, as in the board of trustees, as it is currently structured, to find at least one trustee with the backbone, the temerity, the intestinal fortitude to stand up to the employee that sits on these board meetings and make sure that that individual understands that they work for the library. They work at the pleasure of the trustees, not the other way around. Basically, we need somebody that will make sure that the current library director understands he is not in charge. He does not run the show. So please search amongst your current structure of trustees. And I would like to say, while I have the opportunity, you didn't know what she's getting into, did you, Mr. Rogers?
Janet Butcher for the record again. I deem this election invalid and not right. I believe the attorney can address why we would be voting for Amy when she has not been reappointed at this point by the commissioners.
So we're discussing the vice chair election right now, and your comments need to be related to that specifically, please.
Well, how can you have a vice chair to a chair that is illegal? That's pretty obvious.
Any other comments regarding the election of the vice chair?
Michelle Holmes, enter my comments into the record. My comment was just a question for Mr. Trent Ross, the Washoe County District Attorney. Could you please lend us your expertise, counsel, on this point? We're all waiting with bated breath to understand, first of all, how can this meeting even be legit if there was a quick switch and bait and switch change in an agenda? Could you please confer on that point and this point about having elections for positions where the term is about to be over? Thank you so much, sir.
Any other comments? Okay, I would be open to a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Frank Perez.
Okay, I will second that. So open for discussion. Frank, would you be open to that nomination?
Yes, I would, Chair, and I just do want to say that it's an incredible honor to serve on the Library Board of Trustees. Again, you were a member when I joined the board already, and I just want to say that the work that we're doing in the library for the library system of Washoe County is great work. So, sometimes during these public comments, it gets easy to forget all the other work that staff do for this library system and maintaining this library system so it could serve the constituents here in Washoe County and here in our communities. So again, I just want to say it's a great honor. Trustee Moser, thank you for the nomination. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any discussion that we want to have, Leah?
I just wanted to say thank you for being so amicable in all of your demeanors with everybody from the board to constituents. And I look forward to seeing how you progress the board.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, vote, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, unanimous approval. Appointment for one library board trustee as Friends of the Washoe County Library Liaison. Are there any public comments regarding the Friends of the Library appointment?
Bruce Parks for the record. I would request that your consideration for liaison be fully informed of what Friends of the Washoe Library does and what they have done in the past. I would also strongly consider that this liaison person be advised that one of the people that raised millions of dollars for the Washoe County libraries through Friends of Washoe Library, when this individual found out that those funds were being used to support Drag Queen Story Hour, resigned from Friends of Washoe Library. And it's my understanding that there were a few other folks that went with it. I would strongly recommend that whoever you decide to be the liaison between the two entities is also aware that the Washoe County Library recently partnered with our center to further promote the LGBTQ plus, I can't keep up with it, agenda in our libraries against the wishes of the majority of the Washoe County taxpayers. Thank you.
Gloria Meyer, for the record, using my comments verbatim. Apparently, there's been an issue. We are the public. You guys are the servants. Public servant, we public, you servant. And yet, over 2 years going to these type of meetings, you don't respond either in the meeting or afterward or in your voting. You telling me Friends of the Library, Bruce, lost millions of dollars by some contributors, and that this board is not responding to that? Who are you accountable to? Who are you answering to? Because it isn't us. Jeff, who do you answer to? Answer the board. Are you supposed to answer to us? We public, you servant. Do you know what a public servant is? Do you know that you're paid by our tax dollars? Can you look at me, sir, when we're having, I'd like to have a conversation. I know you can respond to us. Yes, I know the policy, I know the open meeting laws. You can respond to us. None of you ever do. It'd be great to have an engaging conversation with you folks. The fact that Friends of the Library has lost millions of dollars in contributions because of the direction you're taking things is astonishing, absolutely astonishing. So money's coming from somewhere. It's our tax dollars that are supporting your wages. Well, maybe it's not all our tax dollars. I don't know. Maybe there's something else going on here. People have mentioned some communist plot. I don't know. I think there might be something to that. Not sure who all the organizations are that you link up with, but we might start scratching around to find out. Because we're not getting any responses. This has been going on for a couple of years, people coming and talking to you and telling you how we feel about things.
Nothing's changing. You'll keep marching down the same road. It's gonna change. We're gonna make it change. We are going to make it change. And you are not going to be in the room. Because we're about done.
Janet Butcher, for the record, please enter my comments into the public minutes, then as Bruce says, as I say them. I would like to say I would trust that you would, appoint somebody that, would be a good fit, but I don't trust you guys. And I will say that the election for the chair is invalid and wrong.
Any other comments regarding the liaison? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Leah.
Is there anyone that wants to do it?
Yeah, do we have any interest?
This is Trustee Perez. I didn't get an opportunity as many times as I'd like to go last year, Trustee Galeri. So I think maybe nominating a member who doesn't have a position or Trustee Moser. Not sure if you would be interested in being the liaison.
Yes, I would.
It's so cool. It's such an awesome organization. Fridays at 4, I tend to teach a class, so I may not be your ideal candidate this upcoming year. But if you would be interested, I would love to throw a nomination for Trustee Moser for that position.
Yes, I'd be interested.
This is Trustee Perez. I'll put it out there, and I just want to talk very highly of Trustee Moser. I know that she's a person that's been involved in the community since she was a youth, someone who was constantly involved in civic engagement, and really happy to have her on this board and joining us and serving the public in these roles that we do. So I just wanted to give a quick super thumbs up for Trustee Moser, but I will also second that motion or second that nomination.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Unanimous approval. Thanks, Leah. Have fun. I think you're gonna like it. Okay, meeting schedule, trustee meeting schedule, and service team presentation cycle for the upcoming fiscal year. Do we have public comment on that specifically? No? Okay. Was everybody able to take a look at this?
This is Trustee Perez. I did, Chair.
All right. Any comments, questions, thoughts regarding these two things?
Chair, I think I just have one comment. Does 4 p.m. still work for all the trustees? Is that the best time? I just want to double check with everybody. I do take time off from my profession, but I just want to make sure it fits in everybody's schedule to hold it at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I also do that. I'm not sure that we have, Trent, do we have say in the time of this meeting?
I'm familiar with that right now. I have to check the bylaws and get back to you.
'Cause it's in the bylaw. I mean, yeah, so it's always been at 4 on the Wednesday. So I just
For
think.
this item, it's just for the dates you're meeting and then the locations. Bylaws, you can probably talk about that then.
Understood. Okay. Just wanted to double check with everyone since we do it's been 4 p.m. since I joined the board, and if it was a different board of directors at that time.
Yeah, no, it's always been.
Okay, can we change the bylaws?
Not yet. We're just talking about the dates of the meeting schedule and the presentations.
Or, I mean, did we just approve them a few months ago and so we won't be able to for a year, or when will we be able to?
Bylaws are coming up.
Okay, great.
Yeah, because and I wouldn't want to push it out a crazy amount of time, Chair, but
Just on these issues right now. So just the dates for the meeting and the presentations right now.
Understood.
Okay, so any comments or questions regarding that?
Good to go.
Good. Leah, any questions? Okay.
Nope.
All right, great. I will entertain a motion if someone has one.
I move to approve.
This is trustee Perez. I second.
All right, no other discussion points to be made? Anybody?
And then Chair, I think I heard someone from the audience discuss public comment, since this is an action item, or?
This is an action item, and I asked before we started this discussion if there was public comment. Nobody got up, so we moved on to the actual discussion part. Do we have a second? You seconded. No other conversation? No other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous approval. Library holiday enclosure schedule. Do we have public comment regarding that specifically?
Once again, Bruce Parks for the record. I have a concern about the holiday and closure schedule. I just would like to point out that we have a lot of significant holidays that are not being addressed by the library. When you close the library for Memorial Day, as is mandated, that does not constitute a celebration of those people that gave their lives for this country. But that was pretty much the extent of the celebration this last month. I find that to be absolutely horrific as a veteran. I don't see anything on the library holiday and closure schedule that would indicate what the libraries are doing to promote these holidays. I would recommend that you put some verbiage on there for the general public so that we know what the intent of the library is to celebrate these significant dates in our history. Thank you.
Fred Meyer, for the record, to be on the record verbatim. So I'm a little confused. Brought this up, so I'm like, okay. So I go to the library and they didn't let me in. So the library wasn't closed, it was open. So I'm thoroughly confused. You need to explain to me why I can't enter the library when it's the open signs. When it's open, when people are in there. Because it's a public library, and next time I'm going in that library. I'm not going to be turned away when everybody else can go in there, but Fred. So you need to explain this to the public, the world public. We need to know why we cannot go in the library. Make it clear, please. You in the middle.
Any other public comment regarding this?
Speak on it.
Okay, trustees, comments, questions, thoughts?
This is trustee Perez. I don't have any questions or comments regarding this holiday schedule. I'm assuming it's staff time. So.
Okay. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion.
This is Frank, so moved.
Anybody interested in a second?
Second.
Okay, no other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous approval. Now we are at bylaws. Any public comments specifically relating to the bylaws?
Well, I think we should change the time if it works better for the board members.
We got to do public comment first. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bruce Parks for the record. Again, please enter my comments into the record verbatim. Where to begin with your bylaws? First of all, you shouldn't even be discussing these bylaws because the original packet that was published last week did not reflect the bylaws that you're going to be discussing here tonight. The previous posting on the website included all the different colored language, what was being struck out, what was being added, et cetera, et cetera. Not to mention the fact that there are some dates on there that are absolutely erroneous. You voted on this supposed current set of bylaws back in September of last year because you canceled the June, July, and August meetings. When you voted on those bylaws back in September, you actually voted on erroneous bylaws at that time. And now here we are again, same thing. So I don't know, I will have to take it up with an attorney friend of mine, whether or not you're actually violating the letter of the law by entertaining a set of bylaws at this meeting that was not made available to the general public prior to this meeting. I believe that would be an open meeting violation. But again, I will take that up with an attorney. I would also like to point out that in your bylaws, you say specifically when it comes to the rules of how you will conduct your meetings, that you will, quote, refer to Robert's Rules of Order. Now, there's only one way that can be construed and still be within the letter of the law, is that you are actually going to follow Robert's Rules of Order for the conduct of your meeting. You can't say a ambiguous blanket statement that, yeah, we're going to have some rules and we may look at this guy's rules, but not necessarily. That doesn't fly. You can't have language like that in your bylaws. Your bylaws have to be specific. You can't have ambiguous language in your bylaws. And I only tell you this because I recently took the test to be a certified parliamentarian. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I aced it.
Is it up for us now?
I can't see. Is there anybody else up for public comment?
Let me check the participant.
Okay, now we're up for chat.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Okay. I wanted to address, sorry.
I think we do have someone public comment online for Reba.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
All right, okay, I'll let her go. Reba, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Thank you.
But
I wanted to comment, this is Reva Crump, please read my comments into the minutes of the meeting. I wanted to make sure you understood, I realize you're trying to change the time, which shouldn't be a problem, except there's a specific time mentioned in your bylaw. And I believe you have to give all of the trustees notice that you want to change the time, so then all the trustees can have input, either by Zoom in person or by email, so that the time can be changed. I don't think because you are trying to present it at this time, you have to specifically put it out there and then can change it. So likely if you want to include it on your next agenda meeting and all the trustees are aware, you would then be able to change the time of your meetings to what's convenient for all of you. That's all. Thank you.
Any more public comment?
doesn't appear so.
Okay, Leah, you're up.
Hi. So I just wanted to check with our lawyer. Are we able to make a change of this sort?
When you say change, are you referring to the exact change of the time?
Yeah, at the time.
So the bylaws are coming up for your reviews. You are able to change the time as part of the bylaws if you so desire.
Okay, great, thank you. So I would propose that we change the time to 5 p.m. if that accommodates the board and we can discuss this. And then secondly, I'd also like to put into the bylaws for just the security of our positions to do this is to include we are web-based, we are able to be web-based attendees to these meetings because we never explicitly say that.
Got it.
This is Trustee Perez. I would agree with that. Chair, please let us know about 5 p.m. 5 p.m. works perfect for me.
Hey, Jeff, what would be the impact on the librarians' presentations and things like that if we were to move the schedule?
Well, I mean, the way the meetings have gone lately anyway, they're gonna be late, so they know that, so it shouldn't have an impact.
Okay.
Chair, if I may, because this is a bylaw discussion, if you would like to take up the time, you do have the right to change it now, but it might be good to take the input of the rest of the board members in as well.
Okay. I'm open to changing the time. I'm open to hanging on until next month. We will have 2 additional board members who would chime in at that point. Would you guys be comfortable postponing the vote on this until next month so we can have a larger discussion?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Great. And then here's my call to library staff who come and do presentations at these meetings. I would be interested in your input. I don't want to unduly burden you guys on what you're having to do here. So please let us know, shoot me an email or something like that, or call or whatever. But let me know if you feel one way or another on this so that we can put your point of view into this as well. Okay, so we'll move that to the agenda for next month. And I believe we are at strategic plan. This is a non-action item, so we do not have public comment. Jeff?
Yep, coming out.
Okay.
Sorry. All right, here's your strategic plan updates for June. So book vending machines are installed, so that was really great. We had this Cold Springs Community Center book vending machine installed, the Sun Valley Teen Center installed. This is the pictures of the unboxing, and we had Jimmy Swan from Coal Lake come out. That was the end of last week, so previous week. So really nice to get that coverage for that. So the auto lens that's at Sun Valley is different from the Cold Springs one. The auto lens automatically can check out books and check books back in. And the Cold Springs is more of the vending machine model where you select a book, it drops down, you put it in the book drop, and then we have to libraries have to manually put it back in the machine. So we're getting a lot of activity on the Sun Valley one, so that's really great. And the story was really good for the community and everyone else. So thanks to Jonica, who also was interviewed for that. She did a great job managing this project and bringing it to fruition. And big thank you to Jamie Hemingway for bringing that team and getting it. So Stimulate Imagination, we have different celebrations we're doing. We have Asian Pacific Islander Month, we have Pride Month, Summer Reading Launch, all had TV and news coverage. We also had our KU and our on the shelf this month as well, highlighting Pride Month for June. We also highlighted Asian Pacific Island Month for May. CRV Library renovations, so we were just there a month ago, so you were there when that happened. River attending CRV Library is back open, so we're really excited about that. New carpet, new entrance. Some of the new furniture is still on the way. We should see that coming in beginning of August, so that's good for that. And then Sparks Library repair, the front of the library when you first walk in, the LVT there was starting to split on the installation, so they did the repair on that and put the carpeting instead. to make it consistent and with that repair. So no issues with either of those things. So summer reading kickoff, our theme was all together now. So all the library staff had really great kickoffs. I don't think I have all of them in here by the time I had to get this in for the board packet. Sparks Library kickoff, Spearview Library kickoff, North Valley's kickoff, Northwest Reno kickoff. So you'll see them in some of their individual board updates about their kickoffs and summer reading. So lots of people signing up, lots of people involved, lots of kids. So it's really great. And Spanish Springs had 82 for theirs. South Valley's had definitely double digits, almost triple digits on theirs. And we've had a kickoff in Gerlach as well. So summer reading's in full swing, goes through July 31st. Lots of signups, lots of interest. We're getting really high attendance on our programs. We saw that in the annual report that our attendance is going back up higher than pre-COVID. And we're seeing that definitely this year with the summer reading kickoff as well. So welcoming spaces. We hired our 2 library system 3 positions that were promoted. We hired Jean Hemingway officially as the PIO. We hired assistant library director, Stacy McKenzie, and she'll start July 3rd. She comes to us from Lubbock, Texas. We had staff day at the Holland Project. We had the de-escalation training, marketing, book collection, and technology classes. So Holland was gracious to host us. And we also got training from our center, as well as a tour of the our center facilities. And then Rainbow Fest. We had drag queen story hour at downtown Reno and North Valleys. We had 100 people for downtown Reno, and we had, I think, 75, 80 for North Valleys. Can you stop doing that? Just under 200 at North Valley. So
The discussion part of this isn't happening. This is a presentation.
Fred, you're gonna have to leave. You interrupt again. Yes. So successful drag queen story hour, Rainbow Fest. We have the next one, Sparks Library, July 15th.
We'll be there.
So that's the strategic plan update for you. Any questions?
Short and sweet. Thanks, Jeff.
Any
No.
questions?
I don't have any questions for you. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Collection development policy, possible action. Do we have public comments specifically relating to this?
Amy, I do have something before we do public comment that there was a change in the package and we need to kind of take a look at that and why that happened. And so I'd like to table the collection development and interlibrary loan policy to next month.
No problem. All right, moving on to budget. Non-action item, so no public comment. Just to confirm, Jeff, I don't see anything that is an action item left. Is that correct?
That is not. I think that's it, yeah. Nope.
Okay.
Interlocutor, we just tabled that, Bruce.
Actually, you tabled
We tabled both of those, Bruce. Quit arguing with me, Bruce. We tabled those.
We're not having a discussion about this. This is not public comment time. All right, I just want to make sure that we're not going to lose quorum. Let's,
Law violation, you tabled H, not following. But that's okay. You can address it in the attorney general.
your part is done here. Jeff, go ahead and get started on the budget.
The budget. So this is a budget overview for this year and then going into next year. There's a quick overview. The Washoe County Library budget comes from 4 different funds. There's a Washoe County General Fund. There's a Washoe County Expansion Tax that was passed in 1994. Friends of Washoe County Library and gift funds. So gift funds are either donations to branches or branch book sales that they have, and also other funds that we have for that. So breakdown of our general fund. So most of the general fund is budget, is staff and benefits, and then some of it service supplies, and then some general fund total is just under it's a little over $11 million. Some highlights for that is equipment on capital that pays for a lot of our technology. seminars and meetings for training and for library staff, sending the conferences and doing internal training. Library current titles, so that's something to report, is $64,000. That's what the county gives. The majority of our collection development comes out of our expansion tax. And then operating supplies. So we have an expansion fund, so right now it sits at $3.5 million. Staff and benefits is about $2 million, and service supplies $1.4 million. Again, so keep in mind the $960,000 for current titles, that's the bulk of our collection development budget. And then we're going to increase that to $1.3 million for next fiscal year. We're also increasing our internet speed for all of our branches to 1 gigabit for all branches. And that's going to increase our budget to $120,000 for that. So we'll have high-speed internet in all of our branches, including Durlock. And then you also have generally almost hitting that 10% mark for our book budget. If the county had kicked in a little bit more money, we would hit that 10% mark. So we're going to try again next year and see if we can get to that 10% mark. So we're getting closer. Debbie's really excited about having more money for books. And I think everyone's going to be really happy about that. The Friends of Washoe County Library last year gave you $90,000 for library services, supports books, technology, events, and marketing. We also have the gift funds. Most of that comes from community donations, such as the branch book sales and from our wishing wells. You see the wishing wells, those contribute a lot of money towards library operations. That allows us to make improvements to the branches, provide special services and items of that nature. So expansion tax history, so it passed in 1994, WC1. That initiative is going to come up to expire in 2024. So we're hoping to get a new election for that, for the November 5th, 2024 election, to get that renewed. This actually isn't an increased tax on the public. What it asks the county to do is when it collects the tax, it automatically gives it to the library instead of going to the general fund. So it allows us a lot more flexibility to spend money where there may not be funds from the general fund to give it to us. The issues with the general fund typically is that we have to fight with the people with the guns and hoses, and they typically take the lion's share of the county budget. Having the special property tax funding allows us to flexibility, so we're able to renovate our facilities, building facilities, and improve our library services above and beyond what the county can give us. So since 1994, we have the new Northwest Reno Library that was renovated from a pharmaceutical company, built a new South Valleys Library, built a new Incline Village Library, and built a new Spanish Springs Library. We're also able to weather the storm economic recession because of the expansion fund. It also created opportunities to match with private and county funds on library improvements. So the Taquino Trust is an initiative that we had for a number of years to renovate our facilities. And that allowed us to use county funds, our expansion tax, as well as the Taquino Trust to improve these facilities. So new carpet, new furniture, fixtures, and equipment, the North Valleys, downtown Reno, Northwest Reno, Sparks, and Spearwood libraries. So that's the budget. Just a quick overview on the budget where we are. So we're going to see the biggest highlight is increasing the book budget, which is great. And then we're going to keep trying to push to get increased funding for that, and also get on the election for the November 2024 cycle.
Awesome.
Any questions?
This is Trustee Perez. I have a few questions, so I'm looking at the general fund budget, and I see that the staff and benefits is about 10 million, and then services and supplies is at about 1 million, 1.3 million.
Right.
Is in the services and supplies, is that the operating cost for our libraries?
Yeah, that's
exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I highlighted with that was, you have staff and benefits, so that goes to the staff. You have services and supplies, but not all the funding that's in there that we can control. So it pays for the lights. A lot of things that are in there that are general maintenance items are covered by the county in general. And so the items on the fund highlights are typically items that we have control over. So it's less than that services and supplies number.
Understood. And I'm a generally positive person, but I do want to make sure, is there a contingency place and plan if the expansion fund were to fail?
Generally, we talk to the county about that in county budget, and that if that happens, they would basically provide the funding because they're not getting additional tax from that special tax. They're just telling it to give us the library. So what it would do without that special tax is the county would give us that funding that would be for that tax, but then it would remain stable. So when you have property values increase, that number would increase. Without the expansion tax, then we wouldn't see that increase. We'd have to go back to the county to ask for any increase. So it gives us less flexibility in providing services for the public and waiting in line for other services that the county deems as higher priority.
Understood. And again, I want to make sure that we're ahead of anything here. When does the library system plan to start the campaign for that?
We'll start to see that campaign in August. Well, the big highlights would be August and then doing it for November, December, give the gift of reading and highlight that at that point, and then really start in earnest in January. But once it kind of gets activated in June is when we'll do most of the marketing push for that. So we're gonna let people know about it, do an awareness campaign, and then June you'll see that specific marketing, targeted marketing activated at that point.
Understood. Again, I just want to make sure that, we're ahead of the game here, to ensure that voters know that this is on the upcoming ballot in 2024.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I think we
I
are.
guess I got one last one. So if it were to pass in 24, the next time it would be up would be in 40?
Yeah, 30, it'll be 30 years for that. Should be 2054.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, I think we are at library director update.
Yeah, I don't have anything, so it was mostly just trying to wait for that. So we had a great turnout for the Draft Main Story Hour, so that was really well attended. There's a number of stories that came in the KMNR, RGJ, Reno News and Review, and one other news outlet. So we'll share all that information at the next board meeting, and have that in your packet. And then, like I mentioned in the board report, Stacy McKenzie's our new assistant library director. And so we'll try to introduce her at the July meeting so you can see her. Let's see what else. And then Al Rogers is our new board member. So welcome, Al. You can't vote today, but you can be here and witness our wonderful board meeting. So thank you for coming. And I think that's all I have.
And Director Scott, would future trustee Rogers be able to introduce himself at least, or no?
I guess you talked to Trent.
I'll just wait during board member comments at the end under item 8.
Understood.
Folks, thanks for making it here to Incline Village Library. My name is John Crawford, I'm the branch manager. And it's a pleasure of giving you an update of what's been going on here at Incline. So we are 11 other Washoe County Library branches, and our focus when we plan services and programs is to support the library's strategic goals. Also serving our community, and of course, maintaining this beautiful facility. We want anyone who comes to Incline and wants to go, they have to go to the library. They have to go to the facility. So our residents, our families, people visiting as well. And some things in the recent past that have helped us serve our community better is offering library cards to both residents and visitors, as well as things like state card passes. The great news is that we open on Saturdays as available first. So we're 10 to 4 on Saturday, 6 days a week, which is in line with the other branches that and we've had a great response for that. We've had over 500 folks checked out, 31 new library cards, and we kicked it off with our summer reading kickoff block party. We had over 200 people in our parking lot, activities, games, hot dogs, and 10 of our nonprofit partners had information out there. So it's great. The library was rocking, and we already have over 100 signups for the summer reading program.
as Jeff mentioned, the most signups are in the 6 to 11. So that was the elementary school kids before they go on school break for the summer. We're also maintaining service during weather impacts through the whole winter. So anyone who's here, you know the kind of winter we had. We did have to close early 2 days, and we were closed 1 day when the whole town was shut down. It's just not safe to be out. But we have a resilient team of folks that can make the trip up to Reno. But then we also share our staff with branches down the hill, so we can't pick it up to the line. It's not safe to do so. We'll have them work remotely or down in North Reno. So we really take pride in being able to stay open, and that's also very dependent on our property management. We're the big heroes in town this year. In February of 2022, we launched the Libraries Build Lending Kiosk. Grant funding to expand our services. So we were not getting open 6 days a week at this time. We didn't have the staff to do it, but we were able to install a library lending kiosk. Kids can see and check out books. Folks can get a fiction title on the weekend or a DVD. And this was, we love being the guinea pig to pilot services for the system. And it's great to see the kiosk being installed in Sun Valley. Folks very well. Mentioned we expanded hours. We also definitely have a focus on stimulating imagination, and that's really through getting books in people's hands. So the library kiosk is one of those. We offer the pilot Biggest Little Book Box program, where folks could submit a form telling us what they'd like to read in the library, and chose custom titles along with some treats for them to take. So it's kind of like a subscription box service. And we've also had some readers advisory menus around the building with some these little binders in different sections. So if you need a list of a certain genre, we'll have those suggestions ready for you. And then we have the very talented Jackie and Russell who contribute to the KNR on the Kids Shelf program. So this is a radio spot where it really reminds me of Reading Rainbow, where they tell you a little bit about a book. And then you do a line or even to play with your child. So they have great reach, helping the libraries learn out. We're really focused on displays and merchandising here in the branch as well, and that's something we're doing in all of our branches. Just having really vibrant displays that draw you in and show you some of the great collection that we have. The focus of our library is really the Norman Rosenberg Young People's Library. So we did a remodel that began in 2021 and have since continued to try to improve and add that. And that's where we host our story times, which is one of our most well-attended programs. So it's the ideal space for the parents of kids to come in to hang out. And it's also culturally significant. We have the Gallison Dungle installed in 2021, interpretive mural as well. And the most recent addition is our hydroponic garden. So this was a grant from the Tahoe AAW, and the structure is called Let Us Grow. And it has over 30 different plants, herbs, and fruits on there. And we send out an email newsletter when it's time to harvest, so people can stop by and pick up some lettuce or something better. We also support the strategic plan goal workforce building, and the highlight here is our Zoom room. So another great grant-funded project from the Institute of Zoom Library of Sciences and also the Nevada State Library. And this has placed the soundproof Zoom rooms in all of our branches, about all of our branches. We weren't lucky enough to get one of the large-sized ones, and it's used just about every day, not multiple times a day. I think from when the stats we have here continues to increase. So folks can use the Zoom room to have an online meeting, attend a job interview, and we had a great comment from a patron who could not do the interview at home with kids running around, and he was able to do it in the library. So it's great to work, to study, just find a quiet space. And then we also attended the IVCBA job fair, so the Incline Village Costa Rica Community Business Association, similar to a chamber of commerce here in town. that promotes businesses and nonprofits. So all of our branches absolutely strive to support our schools in any way we can. A couple great highlights from the recent months is we attended the Incline Elementary School. They had an assembly for us, and more of our talented staff was there to perform Elephant and Piggy's I Want to Go. If you haven't read the Elephant and Piggy books, you love them, but the elementary school kids really appreciate them. So they acted out that story, got the kids very excited for summer reading, and then we had 80 at our afternoon after school program that day, which is huge for us. So we got great return on investment with that, and increased signups for summer reading challenge as well. Great collaborative program is the Incline High School Artist Reception. So we partner with the Incline High art class, I believe they're seniors, and we do a full reception here. So the art they have created over the year, they will come and do a tour, a presentation and tour around the library. And it's really inspiring to see what inspires these guys in their art. And they have a really great art teacher. And it's just great to see them gain public speaking experience and show their art in the library. Great one. Today we had a culinary camp, so we offered 3 different camps over the summer. Culinary, Lego robotics, and STEAM. So trying to offer a free educational summer camp experience here in town. And then we also had the culinary school visit to check out the hydroponic garden. So they came, several classes came for a visit there, and they plan to use what we're growing in the garden in their class. And we've continued to make improvements to our teen area, making it a welcome and safe space for teens to hang out after school. And we have a great Teen Tuesday program. So every Tuesday, something either creative, educational going on. Dungeons and Dragons is very popular as well as maker activities, making stickers and water bottles. Unique to Incline is that 22% of our population is 65 and over. So we definitely focus our programs on services towards seniors, and we do that with this year we did care cards. We partnered with Meals on Wheels and had kids create holiday cards that we then deliver to local seniors. We do have a fantastic homebound delivery service in Washoe County Library System. We have a patron here, so if you know anybody who take advantage of that service, let us know. They can sign up on our website and we'll bring the books to them. And then of course we have Book of Librarian, where you can reserve 50 minutes with a librarian and ask us questions about technology, about applying for services, about creating an email account, backing up a computer, all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. And another strategic plan goal is celebrating our diverse community. So we have the Gal Symbol installed in 21. That was a great partnership with the Washoe tribe. Herman Fillmore is the gentleman who created the structure, has been installed in different parts along North Lake Tahoe to bring visibility to the Washoe people. And then we partnered with artist Sarah Smith to create the interpretive mural that is the background for the children's area. It includes local flora and fauna, so it's really engaging, as well as imagery from Washoe tribal legends and some Washoe religion. And that's our next step, is that we have received a grant to create 2 interpretive panels that we will post in the children's area that have QR codes that will link to recordings of the Washoe language being spoken. It's one of their highest priorities as the tribe is to maintain their language. So look forward to that coming next. Then we really thrive as a community partner. So we host a bi-weekly Incline Village Crystal Bay Community Forum. We have to facilitate technology with that. Then the Citizens Advisory Board moved their meeting here, and most recently we started offering Incline Village agenda specific agenda items for BCC live stream public comment. We've also joined the Incline Village Crystal Bay Community Business Association. We're one of 300 members in town for that. And they really amplify our events and marketing. So they do great social media, newsletters and blog posts. And if we ever need promotion for a library event, they will help us out with that. And then that has also led to some major community collaborative programs. So it's always great when you can leverage a program, partner with someone in the community and have a great event. So we had Tahoe Poetry Night. That was at the Prim Library. Community members could register to read their poetry. We had an MC from the university. And I feel like that was a good initial step of us partnering more with UNR Lake Tahoe, our newest neighbors in town. We had the high school artist reception and of course the summer reading challenge kickoff and the launch party was a big thing. So a bit about our staff, interesting shift is that now 50% of our staff commute to Incline. We live here in town, you know about housing and transportation, the situation there. So it's unique that we have so much of our staff commuting, but they are intrepid and they make the journey all winter and now through road construction. So it's just very impressive, their dedication to serving this library. We welcome two new staff members, Phyllis Rogers, we welcome back long-time local and library aide, as well as our new staff member, Louise Ewell. And Louise joining the team allowed us to add that sixth day. Couple milestones, we have Ron Barnett at 15 years and Natalie Villegas at 5, which brings up a unique figure that our staff has 87 years of experience with Washoe library system. So just a very dedicated group that are passionate about what they do. And our volunteers are almost as experienced as we have. Can I answer any questions?
Nice job.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I commend you for surviving this winter and staying open as much as you did. That was absolutely incredible.
Sounds like good, clean fun. Thank you. It was good to be open when folks needed to get out of the house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if we don't have any board questions or comments, I think Jonica is up next.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jonica Bowen. I'm representing right now the Washoe County Library System Outreach Team, which is a service team. I did have the opportunity to speak with you all. I think it was in March of this year. And I want to say welcome to our new trustee. I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to speak to you guys quite as frequently going forward based on the schedule. But this is a prime opportunity to share some updates since I met with you guys last. We've had some really great, exciting outreaches, and I'll let Jeff move forward on that. You can see in that photo, though, our kind of standard table setup. The Library Outreach Committee has determined that there are different types of outreach that we provide to our community. That often, the one that most people think of, I think, when we talk about outreach is, of course, promotion of library services, which usually entails what you see there, a table full of goodies, a lot of literature, a lot of information about library services and programming, and then also, of course, always issuing library cards. And that's a huge part of what we have done historically, and we continue to do. What we're trying to focus our efforts on developing is our promotions and outreach through service delivery offsite of our libraries. And that's really what I'm going to share with you today. But before I get there, I wanted to highlight, since we're in Incline, between my last presentation to you all and May when I wrote this, Incline was like our superstar for community outreach this year. This spring, the Incline Library was at, you already heard from John, quite a few major community events. Their team really was communicative with us on our service teams to say, hey, this is happening. It's not something that you probably have your eye on because a lot of us work down in the valley. So they really advocate for these outreach opportunities and they make it happen. One of our efforts in our library system is to make sure that everyone who works for Washoe County Library System can present and participate in developing outreach anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's in their service area or not based on their library location, but Incline, as we all know, is a unique commute. And so the team here really, as John just shared, 50% of this team comes from the Valley. They're staying after hours, they're coming before hours, they're staying on weekends. I think one of these events was on a Sunday. They're making it happen for the community. So I really wanted to highlight that here. And certainly our other branches were doing other events as well. This is another example. I believe John just mentioned the job fair. So outreach can support multiple strategic plan objectives as well, not just the early literacy, which is something that often we overlook as well. Our next piece, and what I'm really excited to share, and Jeff gave you a little preview earlier, and I think we teased this for a while, a few board meetings. We were able, through the hard efforts of multiple team members throughout Washoe County Library System, specifically I'm going to highlight Jeff and Jamie Hemingway, our PIO, who have worked hard in the administrative level to get a grant secured for 2 book machines. I also have the luxury of being able to talk about this, knowing that there's one right outside the door here at Incline. So for those of you in the audience on your way out, if you haven't checked it out, please take a look at that. You have the opportunity, it's right there. And it's just an example of one of those now 3 kiosks that we have. And I will also say that I have benefited by being chair of the outreach team to be able to be a project manager on these installations, but under no circumstances was it innovated by me. I'm going to give all that credit to John and his team, who also piloted this, found the opportunity, and got this going, and really paved the path for us to be successful in this. What you see here is the Sun Valley Neighborhood Center. It's a community center that serves all residents in Sun Valley. It is the site that we have our auto lend that Jeff shared about earlier. It is an all-in-one unit. It allows our team to be fairly hands-off, and patrons can walk up, they can circulate an item, and they can return it directly back into the box. So it really allows full service delivery for anybody in the community with a library card. You can't see it from here, but we did upgrade the wrap, which is that orange packaging that the machine is in. That was designed by our Marcom team for Washoe County Library System. It is very similar. It carries that branding from the machine that you see outside of Incline. So it has that library to go message, that unique brand that you know when you see it, you're going to get a great quality product from Washoe County Library System. But it's been upgraded. Excuse me, apparently I'm losing my voice today. It's been upgraded to include bilingual language and to make it more accessible, and then also to expand on that accessibility. People can scan a QR code that's embedded on that vinyl wrap. It instantly issues a library card. So they walk up, they're curious about it, they don't remember their card number, they don't have it, they haven't never had one, they can get one right there and be instantly successful. So it's really a great opportunity. And that's just an example of the bilingual wrap on that. And we're really excited. I think that's really going to expand that accessibility of the service. Here's just because you can't really tell much by that machine. The AutoLend, if any of you are really into nostalgic history, it's very similar to like an automat that used to deliver food. So it has a carousel on the inside. It holds anywhere from 250 to about 500 items at one time, depending on the size. And so, I mean, that's a respectable small library's amount of material. And so it is comprised of all reading levels, adult and juvenile interests, bilingual materials, nonfiction and fiction alike. And you can see Pam there in that picture, she's loading that book right into the machine there. Cold Springs was also included in a different grant, but this one I really got to give kudos to Jeff. I saw what John did with his machine I don't know how long ago now, maybe a couple of years ago. And I sat there thinking, hey, we've really struggled to get a library expanded in North Valleys. We've been on the CIP capital improvement plan for Washoe County since 1991 and not have successful effort on that yet. But our residents are increasingly having trouble getting into town based on commute time and growth in our neighborhoods. And we've been trying to do outreach on the ground, getting out there and issuing books. And I said, Jeff, I think that this was totally like, just gonna plant the seed and see maybe down the road. And I hate to say, but I mean, we've been working together a few years, but I wasn't quite sure. I'd never really taken on a project like this with Jeff, but I said, hey, Jeff, you know, that kiosk, I know they're kind of expensive, but man, that would really be cool out in Cold Springs. I think it would really make a difference. And I mean, almost immediately I got a response back. Great, start the process. That was really unexpected and really appreciated. And I want to say thank you for that, because this dream has now been realized because you were open to that. This machine mimics almost exactly what we have out here in Incline. It's that great snack machine model, a snack for the mind, if you will. We're working on getting all that stuff installed right now, and putting 2 machines in at the same time is proving to be a big lift. But we're getting there. So we're looking forward to being able to launch this as well. It is located at the Cold Springs Community Center, which is a Washoe County park. It has great access. It's on the main drag, and it also features a skate park and play equipment and basketball courts, you name it, as well as a community center that serves lunches to seniors. And so we've had a lot of success. As I was out there with just a shell with nothing in it, not operating at all, the seniors having lunch, I issued a card to somebody, I think almost 100 years old, and it was the first card they've had in a while. So it was really exciting. I was really, really stoked to see how excited they were about that. So we're working on that right now, and it should be live any day now. I think that one's a lending library, a little bit different in the format you can see. We do have a return coming. It will be a manual return. So folks will check out. They'll come up, we'll have a matching return and the same branding. It'll have the bilingual and the QR code as well to expand those access of services. And we'll go up on a periodic basis, check those materials in and get the machine stopped. A little more time intensive on that one. And then Jeff, can I give you?
Yeah, we just got those. Yeah.
We got Jeff sent me a great email this morning. Jamie, again, we could not do this without Jamie in the morning. Man, she is just in an acting position for so long, and now well-deserved promotion, but she was really just helping us pick up the pieces. Together, we got a grant written to support our next big project, which is a bookmobile. And that was directly related to, again, feedback from our community through our strategic planning process. What you see here is John Andrews driving that in our parade last year for Pride. The vehicle will be very similar to this. This is our courier van. We're just testing it out, getting our feet wet with that experience. And so you'll be able to see, again, a great brand that you recognize on the road. We have already, as part of that grant process, identified stops based on feedback from the community and library staff. And so we're going to be working really hard to build on that. The grant has been approved. So now we just get back into that development planning phase. We're so excited. And I'm here for questions. Jeff, are we, from the public, are we good on that, or?
Well, I think we need to hear them before. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
So any questions from the board?
It's here. I'm so excited. Like, we've been talking about this for so long. It seemed like this like invisible creature that we were never going to meet.
Teasers everywhere. I gotta to say that, that these are all supported by various grants, and there are so many people involved in that to make these things successful. The process is not immediate, and it really is a long process to get there, but what a reward on the backside once it all arrives. It's been great. I can share also, I think I did pull a number before I drove up here today. Our Sun Valley kiosk that's been up and operational since about the last week in May. We've had 37 successful checkouts. on that machine, which is pretty incredible actually, because most of that is just people finding it. They have no experience using these machines, so it speaks to the integrity and the intuitive nature of the machines. And so 37 checkouts in just a couple of weeks with a soft launch, it's pretty incredible.
So cool. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. I'm available after if anybody has any questions. I can certainly. Thank you.
All right. Any staff announcements today?
No?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Please, hold on a second. So Donica Bowen again for the record, and this time I'm speaking to you as branch manager of the North Valleys Library. We talked about it. We had our successful first Rainbow Fest at North Valleys over the weekend. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank my colleagues publicly. We had a huge turnout of library staff, library supporters who came to make sure that event was safe, family friendly, and a great success for our very first event at North Valleys. And I really just want to thank the courageous turnout of my colleagues for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, any board comments?
Maybe you want Al introduce himself?
That'd be great if you're up for it today.
Sure. For the record, Al Rogers, trustee appointee at this point. First of all, thank you to Director Scott for inviting me up today to hit the ground running in terms of being educated, listening, and learning. I look forward to continuing that with the board. Thank you to Branch Director John for hosting and to the staff for the kudos. I hope that I bring my 42 years of experience in living in this area. And when I say area, I mean the Reno Sparks and Tahoe area. I've been fortunate to serve both the city of Reno and Washoe County in various roles, if you will, as Parks Director in both entities, also in the executive office of the county manager, working through the years and have been retired, but have never stopped being, to use the term, a public servant. So I will continue to do that. I will continue to listen. I will continue to listen to everyone. And I look forward to serving on the Library Board of Trustees and officially being a trustee next month. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Al. Welcome aboard. We are thrilled to have you. It'll be so nice to have a fifth. This quorum thing will be much easier now. Anyway.
Yeah, welcome Al. This is Trustee Perez, Chair. I just have a few comments. Again, I just want to thank everybody who showed up tonight to the board meeting. Again, throughout these different public comments, what I've always emphasized, that at least for the time that these comments have came up, is the need to treat each other with respect and to respect each other's opinions. Although there's a foundational difference in perspective, I've always said that everyone can be respectful, and that's the way that I've tried to approach it, regardless of a different perspective. Jeff, Director Scott, I did have one question. Did we have security there tonight?
No. We can't get around the captain's line, so we did let the sheriff deputies know next door about the meeting, so.
Understood. And
John, for the record, they were here, they were present.
Understood. And the reason I say that is, again, I just don't want there to be an altercation and as we saw at a previous board meeting. So again, it's just coming from experience. Secondly, Director, I did want moving forward maybe a little bit more a detailed plan regarding the expansion tax question and regarding the campaign efforts that are going to be made regarding that question, because that is, as you know, a very important ballot initiative that's coming up. Just want to make sure that we're as ready as possible. And then the final thing, again, future trustee Al, welcome. Like I've said before, it's a great honor to have been serving on the library board of trustees. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised here in Northern Nevada. And so, you know, when I come to these meetings, I really try to just bring my perspective of lived experience and professional experience that I've had in the past. So again, welcome, and just want to introduce myself as well. That's all I got, Chair.
All right. Adjournment 6:41. Thank you everyone for your patience. Have a wonderful evening. See you next month.